will get into the respiratory tract of humans. Now let's follow the path of air. We know that air enters through the nasal cavity. Now in this nasal cavity, let's see what really happens. There are two things in the nasal cavity. One is the hair and other one is a mucus. Both these things filter the air. So the hair and the mucus, they filter the air. They filter the air of little particles. And that's the reason why, you know, sometimes when you go to a city like Delhi and Bombay and you're out for an entire day and you return home and you clean your nose, you find the mucus is a little blackish. It's not white. The reason is because you have taken in air with a lot of particles, especially unburnt carbon, and that has been filtered by the hair and the mucus. So in the nasal cavity, there is a hair and the mucus that filters the air. So it is always healthy to breathe through your nose rather than your mouth. Now after we go through the nasal cavity, the air now is entering into the trachea. Now this trachea has got here these rings. If you touch your neck region, you will find these rings. These are called the cartilaginous rings. So this cartilaginous rings, these rings of cartilage which I have marked here, they are present in the throat and they make sure that the trachea does not collapse when there is no air in it. The trachea does not collapse, because remember, trachea is not a very strong structure. As long as there is air, it remains nice and stiff, but after there is no air, it could tend to collapse. So these rings support the trachea. So the function of this cartilaginous rings here is to support the trachea. After the trachea, the air now enters into each lung. There are two lungs, and then into the bronchi, and it branches further and further into the lungs. And ultimately it reaches the alveoli, which we'll see in detail. The structure of this balloon-shaped structures called the alveoli. Now we'll talk about this balloon-shaped structures called alveoli. All the bronchi end up in this little balloon-shaped structures, like they look like a bunch of grapes, called alveoli. So here is a picture of a cross-section of alveoli. Have you seen? They are balloon-shaped, they are curved. And there is a reason why they are curved or balloon-shaped. This increases the surface area, and if there is increase in surface area, more diffusion or more of exchange of gases take place. Now, and they are all surrounded, if you notice here, they are all surrounded by blood vessels. There is an artery that enters with the blood, and there is a vein that leaves. And the whole alveoli is richly surrounded by a network of capillaries. In this picture, we see exactly what happens in the alveoli. Here is the air inside. Inside here is the air. This is the air. Here all okay. And inside the air and outside it is the blood. And if you look very carefully, from the air, the oxygen enters into the blood. This oxygen enters into the blood. This is oxygen that enters into the blood and combines with the hemoglobin. And from the blood, we have the carbon dioxide that enters into the alveoli. Let's take a look at it again. Here we have blood. This is blood here flowing in the blood vessels, and here is the alveoli filled with air. These blue molecules are oxygen. Here we have oxygen. And these green molecules are carbon dioxide. The oxygen from the air enters into the blood and combines with the hemoglobin, whereas the carbon dioxide from the blood enters into the air or the alveoli. It is then collected and thrown out of the body.